Is it anybody out there? Be some words from my subconscious. Yeah. Mortalized. I'm so bionic in my subconscious. I be spitting, I never run out of options. Wisdom and logic, predicted it like a Nostradamus. I meditate in silence, so much inventory in here. Anything you need, you can find it. Flashbacks of hard times, horror movies in my mind. Roll up the herb cause it helps me unwind. Look around here, ain't no telling what you might find. Old crimes that can't even escape my mind. Traveled the world, took so many notes, wrote many quotes. All I seem to have is time, but tell me where it goes. Euphoria, paranoia from way before. Operate this computer with ancestors' codes. These be some words from my subconscious. Is it anybody out there? What words from my subconscious? Is it anybody out there? Is it anybody out there? What words from my subconscious? Is it anybody out?
Even if I go through the biggest shadow of my life, or dig the deepest ditch of debt or anything else you can think of, there's still actions, there's still moments, choices, free will to be able to shift out of that into a different vibration. And that is just so beautiful for each and every one of us, you know. As much as I talk about it for me in my life, this also is for all of us. We all abuse or neglect. You may still feel the effects, even in adulthood. We will explore the different types of inner child wounds, their causes, and their common ways they manifest themselves in adults.
Be more creative and joyful, as children usually are, you know, in order for us to experience our inner child. And every moment in your childhood, potentially, that you experienced and felt that you haven't been heard or understood, or you know, you didn't know how to express yourself or whatever, because
Hello, grand day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Friday Expedition. This is episode 4. I am one of your hosts, Marcus Christo Light of Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, and I am joined by our co-host, MagickJarne, the Healing Magician. And on episode 4, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Episode 4, man. Like I just jumped right in. You know, it's magic, and we all start witnessing it. You know, if we are looking at the topic fear and propaganda, you know, episode 4, like what keeps us from seeing the magic in life? It's usually fear and propaganda. So we maybe can start off with that one.
Absolutely. That's right, everybody. Fear and propaganda. Fear and propaganda is the topic for today. Tap in. Reclaiming our power as the I am. Wholeness. That's right. So as Yana said, fear and propaganda is going to be our topic. And wow, you know, like it is such a profound focus and topic right now. When you think about the time that we're in, you look at, you know, all levels, honestly, like as above, so below. you know, we don't have to make this political. We don't have to make this about the election. Like, we can look at the changes that are taking place in the above when you look at these astrological movements along with these different gates that we are moving through. You know, we had 1111, and we also had 1119 coming up with Pluto going into Aquarius until 2044 for the first time in 250 years, which is a revolutionary period of time. And with that, you know, there comes resistance. And as we go through these changes and begin to ramp up and accelerate these transformations, there's resistance that can come with that. And that resistance can come in many different forms, whether it's our own shadows or it's propaganda, fear mongering, and other ways of keeping us in a lower vibration, in a delusion of being separate and in fear. And so today we're going to talk about some experiences. We're going to talk about some tools holistically that you can utilize and implement in your everyday life in order to really navigate and also be able to kind of reprogram and clear out those layers of fear and propaganda. How are you doing today, brother man?
Oh, yeah, having a good day. I must say, you know, I have had some deep insights lately, you know, and yeah, you know, like I'm in Germany, so what you guys do over here and how we hear from it's a little different. You know, there's the distance, you know, as you guys like, do you know anything about what our politicians do? Probably not, you know, so or what's going on over here. So it's there's this distance, and I mean, I have contact to people in America, you know, more so than any other country on this world, I think, or any other country. Some friends in Australia too. It's, you know, like we gotta have a clear sight. We gotta be very clear about where we are as individual. You know, if you know where you are and like your position right now, like yes, in your individual life, and yes, in the collective as well, like, you know, where your position is. And you know what I think is why lots of people are in fear, or experience anxiety and confusion, right? Their thoughts are cluttered. It's because they're not in their power and they feel powerless. And this is, I mean, this is deep. You know, why do we have to feel powerless? We don't have to feel powerless at all. And it's just because we give away power. And an example from my own life, you know, would be like I gave power away as a child with, like, you know, thinking that I can't draw or I'm not imaginative. You know, I told this my parents so many times. You know, I was sitting there with a pen in my hand and I didn't know how to put any words on this piece of paper or how to draw anything because I was so insecure, like, because of everything that was going on inside of me that I didn't allow myself to express, to talk about, you know, live my truth. I haven't allowed myself that as a child, so I was holding myself back in those things too, like, you know, oh, no finger. You know, if I look at this picture, like, if you would have told me that I'm going to draw pictures like that are psychedelic, that are, you know, I'm using sacred geometry, I'm using shapes, numbers, colors, and just harmonize them all. Like, if you would have asked my teenager, dude, like, I would look at you and like, dude, really? Like, I would have come up with any excuse. I would have pushed away that you want to tell me that I'm going to be an artist or creator, you know, and that sort. So I wasn't even allowing the information or like the help in, you know, and people always offer us help. The universe is always delivering us insights on how to live our best life, or about who we are and why we're here, you know, and where our position is in the great scheme, you know, that we experience in this reality that we're all in together. So there's so much to unpack there, you know, why we hold ourselves back or why we feel powerless. It's usually because we do not allow ourselves to be ourselves, to express ourselves, and we rely on outside forces to do the work for us, you know, to make the decisions for us, as in the election. Like, I mean, we vote for politicians, but how much of like our voice is actually counting in the decisions that those politicians make, you know? For sure we have, and I just say fear, if we give power to someone who is not acting in the way that we would like them to, you know. It just yeah, we start experiencing you know, grief eventually, you know. We're angry about ourselves, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. So I told a lot. I think you can jump in there and dial down to something that you find like our listeners, our friends here will get something away from more deeply.
Thank you, brother, man. Thank you for sharing that. And you know, what was just coming to me was I guess this is kind of like I guess a tip or a way for us to be able to navigate you know, when we're triggered or when we're in the midst of our fear or propaganda spiraling through us. One thing that I do that is involved with your mental aspect and your conscious mind is I remind myself in the moment. And what I remind myself of is what I'm thinking about, is what I am projecting or having fear surrounding, is it something that is directly impacting me right now in my life? Or is it something that is going to, you know, be in the way of my decision making? Is it going to really stop me from continuing to live and to be able to live my life authentically? And what I find is when I remind myself of that in the moment, then I start to loosen up those chains of attachment towards whatever that thought form or body is. And then from there, you can kind of move into a space where it's like, okay, yeah, conscious reflection. I get why I'm in fear. And this is another key too. And note this, if you're someone that likes to journal or note, is giving yourself grace, giving yourself love in those moments where you're analyzing yourself, or you're taking a look and you're saying, is this directly impacting me? And not invalidating yourself is the last key of that. Not invalidating yourself because you're in fear, but validating the fear. But also then approaching it from a higher intelligence, knowing that that fear is not who you are and it's not your everything. So for example, you're in fear and then you recognize it. Then you start to think like, okay, I'm in fear about this event that is being said to happen. And when it happens, everything is going to go into destruction. Everything will go into chaos. Or when this person gets elected, all of these terrible things are going to happen. So, you can either sit and attach to that, and you can mentally continue to perpetuate that energy into your field and add fuel and snowball effect it. Or what we can do is just be like, okay, look, yes, it is absolutely valid for me to have fear surrounding these things that I've been told or these possibilities of what could happen. But that is something that is only a possibility. It's not finite. It's a possibility in the future out of many possibilities that could take place. So with that being said, it's not fully destined to happen yet, which means it may not even happen. But what I can do is I can bring myself to the present, and I can continue to focus on my life and also develop stronger faith through being present. And what I mean by that is, the more that we're present, and the more that we're continuing to live our life in the way that we love and that we want it to be, then we develop a stronger faith in a divine universe, that everything outside of this present moment is in the divine's hands. And through my intentions as a conscious co-creator, I am able to have an influence in the type of timeline of reality that I experience, as well as the ripple into the collective. So with that being said, if I don't know if this is what's actually going to happen in the future, these things that I'm surrounding fear around, what good is it for me to really hold on to it right now in the present? And through that faith that we develop, we then realize that through having such strong faith, when the time comes for that quote unquote fear to supposedly happen, it either happens or it doesn't happen. But what we have is that unwavering faith in ourselves to still continue to be continuous and move forward either way. And another thing too, for the faith part is, for me, like embodying faith is knowing that whatever may or may not come in the future, I have such strong faith that I am connected to the divine or God or source, that if that time comes and then these experiences do unfold and happen, then I will be adjusted by my spirit or by source to then do what I need to do in that present moment under those circumstances. So those are like some key mental ways that you can take back your conscious awareness and try to be more of that director and more of that orchestrator of your own being when it comes to just letting go and dismantling those future fears and propaganda that we may be dealing with in our life, whether it's about an election, whether it's about our job, whether it's about family, a relationship, whatever it may be. I have found that drawing ourselves back to the present instead of the future and doing the things that we can do to be our best self for the future has been one of the greatest keys for me.
Good, man. It's a huge topic, and finding ways to really be responsive or responsible, responsible, rather than reactive is very important. And how to really, in a moment of stress or like a challenge comes into your life, like just to have a tool at hand that helps you be stress-free, to calm down, to reorganize yourself, to reset yourself, is important. And there are things, as you say, they're held very, very easy. It's not like it's not that no one can do it, or that just for a few ones to do those types of techniques, or breath work as an example. Like there are really quick ways on how to create the space inside yourself to move forward on purpose, and to really look back for reflection and learning, in the past, not living in the past, not living in the future even as well, not looking forward and prophesizing the bad thing to happen. Like, I give power to that thing to happen, and what many people, all they're focused on is what's out there. It's not what's in them, or in us. And if I, feel powerless, it's because I'm out there, I'm not here. If I have fear, I'm usually somewhere different than here, or I place my focus, my awareness on anything other than myself. And, creating space within you through breath, through other healing modalities, like exercise, having walks, eating clean, fasting, those good things. All of those things help you to do what you can do for yourself, to be in control over yourself, which is the only thing that you have ever control about is yourself, not what other people do. So if you can't change what's happening out there, how about starting within you and looking what you can do to bring some change, to be the change, to be the example for others, and to be the leader that you were waiting for your entire life. It's really about you. And if we look at it that way, and we all start looking at ourselves first, and knowing that the only thing that we can do is to look after ourselves, or look for ourselves, where we are in all of that, and where we are right now in this present moment, and what my next steps are. Observing, contemplating, reflecting on the past, or what I'm learning, what I've learned, and like just using what I've learned and what I'm learning in the present to cause the future to be a brighter one. And we're in a transition of big change. AI is helping us so much to evolve right now, and to get all of the information out there. It's whoa. If you want to be fearless, like, and not be overwhelmed by that speed that's going on, like, you gotta be fit. You gotta be prepared. You gotta take time out for you. You gotta go to the sauna, you gotta go to have walks, or you gotta spend time with people who elevate you, who, when you leave them, you feel better than before. You have to do things that make you feel better afterwards than before. Yeah.
I like how you left off on that. Pretty much alchemizing yourself, getting that stagnant energy flowing. And it's kind of like, it brings me into the holistic talk of, how we operate as multidimensional beings. And being electromagnetic beings and multidimensional beings, we basically run off of our vibratory field, and the vibrational rate and the fluidity of our vibration rate is a major key in our ability to feel peace, as well as to be able to feel light and feel the light of Christ, or light of God and light of source flowing through us. So, and this is another thing that came up for me, is our nervous system. How is your nervous system doing? Is that something that we are checking in on every so often? if ever in our whole entire life, are we ever checking in with our nervous system? Because the nervous system is our signals. It's our ability to physically have signals and to sense and feel things. So if our nervous system has been through so much trauma, so much triggering, and so much energies that have kept it in a very anxious like state. I can't remember the correct terminologies when it comes to overactive nervous system, but if we have been constantly in an overactive nervous system and we don't tend to ground ourselves, we don't tend to clear out the overstimulation into a balanced, more harmonious state with our nervous system, then what we can find is that our nervous system can become very susceptible. It can become very, very tender and very, very sensitive to the energy waves that we are coming across. So if our nervous system is constantly in fight or flight mode, and it's always getting triggered off of the most subtle bits of energy, like even when you're at home and your family member closes a cabinet, and next thing you know, you're jumping out the couch because they closed the cabinet. That is a very, very delicate place to be in. And I kind of want to just give the reminder to everybody out there to maybe check in with your nervous system. See if there's any type of recalibrating or balancing that could be used for your nervous system. Because if our nervous system is staying this fragile and this susceptible to any subtle energies, then it's going to be pretty difficult, and it's going to be very strenuous, and it's going to be a constant bout of moving through these triggers and being brought into fight or flight mode. And, you know, if we're watching the news all the time, or we're surrounding ourselves around people that are fearful, or we have people around us that don't believe in us and are constantly projecting doubts, then that is going to hit our nervous system constantly over and over. And then we're going to get triggered into that fight or flight. And through that fight or flight, we start discharging our electrical energy, and it basically drains it out to the world unconsciously. And then we absorb even more of that vibrational fear energy into our biological being. And then it manifests and trickles into our mental, emotional, and other states of being, as they're all interconnected, parallel. But when we have a healthy nervous system, when we're grounded properly, we're in a solid foundation with our root chakra and our earth star, and our nervous system is regulated, then we find ourselves more in a solidified field where it can be kind of quote unquote protected more due to the solidification of your field. So instead of those energy waves being able to come in and disrupt your nervous system and your other parts of your being, you're so solid and so solidified that those energy waves hit it, and then they bounce off and they deflect due to the solidification of your aura and your energy field and in your nervous system. How do you do that? Many different ways. Jana's shared some. I've shared some as well. Grounding practices, breath work, chakra balancing, root chakra and earth star activations, as well as going deeply into trauma healing and releasing other triggers that have been very detrimental to our balance and state of being. So I just want to give that reminder of the nervous system and how recalibrating and bringing balance to our nervous system can be a really beneficial way to allow ourselves to have a solid foundation for not being able to be shaken up and not absorb as much fear and propaganda that's out there in this world. How does that resonate with you?
Well done. You know, our nervous system, like, you just brought me into a place. Um, I'm observing human dynamics much, and especially on the dance floor, I started noticing how synchronized we are. And depending on how we feel the music, we start dancing in a similar way, we start moving in a similar way. In other terms, like, we are all connected, and if we vibe on a certain frequency that is matching, we take on certain things that aren't ours. If we're unconscious about it, that we carry that frequency in us, which is, I don't know, stress. Our nervous system is in stress response without us being aware of it consciously, but unconsciously we always are aware of it. Like, if you walk past, or you are in a room, let's say differently, you're in a room with people, like 5 of you. One is stressed, the others are pretty normal, but everyone else gets stressed too, because they pick up on that frequency and let themselves influence by that frequency. Like, they all could decide to listen to their own music, but because they listen to the music of that stressed person, they all get stressed. Because, and that's a choice people make. It's a choice. And those things, like, sometimes people walk into a room and the entire room is lifted just because of that one person coming into the room. Sometimes there's other person come in and nothing changes, because they're not having such a strong energy field. But a person who is truly in their heart and just emanating that love frequency, that light comes out of their eyes, like, everyone else is affected by it. And this person gotta stay there and not be affected by anything else, like by stress or anxiety, or people who aren't as confident. It gotta stay in that frequency, and everyone else is going to be lifted to that frequency too. You can test it yourself. If you're the only family member on the Christmas who is happy or is having a good vibe, and just stay there, because you're happy with yourself, with what you do, with who you are, with what you think, with how you serve others, how you do good for yourself and the world. And you just focus on your own achievements rather than the stories of other people, the achievements of other people, or whatever. You just focus simply on yourself. Like, you will see how you're not affected by anything else other than your own creation. Another example, just from matching frequencies, and then I get back to you. Like, I noticed myself picking up on how other people walk or talk. I have that, I don't know, for many years I've done it unnoticed, like, because for me it was just like so normal to do that. I start talking like other people, I start walking like other people. It's insane if I really look at it. And still today, I was passing by a stranger having a walk, and I started just like automatically bouncing from the way I'm walking, just as the person, just like the person. And I'm like, man, this is insane. How we match frequencies, and I do this automatically, just like rapport building. I allow myself to feel the frequencies that are around. I'm not identifying with those frequencies, so it's easier for me to let them go again. Like, we are not even aware of that we are matching other people's words, frequencies, tonality, body language, and all those things, but we're constantly doing it anytime, because we haven't set our nervous system up differently, or we haven't got the control about it yet, right? It's a very interesting topic, very, very deep. And I want to really introduce you all to start observing how similar may be the words that you use are with the words that your best friend is using, or your parents, or your colleagues, or whatever, the people that you hang around with most, and how you have similar traits with each other. And then ask yourself, how much of those traits are really yours? How many traits do you really resonate with how you speak? How you bring things across, how you walk, how you behave, what you eat.
Man, those are such excellent points. Like, I love this topic that we're flowing with right now because it's really getting the fire flowing. And I just feel like this stuff is so important right now for the collective to hear. And man, oh God, there's like so many words that want to come out at once. But the love that I have for all of you out there is so immense. And I can just wish nothing more but you guys to be able to find your inner peace and to find your inner stability, because it's worth it. You're worth it. And you're blessed, and you are such a beautiful divine being, each and every one of you, including all of us. And sometimes we just have to be real with ourselves. Sometimes we're playing games with ourselves, and we even know it sometimes. We'll even subtly laugh at ourselves, or we'll subtly just kind of give a little evil smirk because we give in to more and more and more of the same cycles of what we know is not serving us. So I just want to give that reminder of just be real with yourself. Stop playing games with yourself if you know you're playing games with yourself, and allow yourself to really elevate and grow out of this cycle that you're in, especially if you know the tools, if you know the things that are no longer serving, and the people, places, and things that have to be let go of. I know that.
I don't know, I can't hear you now, brother. Now
What's
you're
that?
back. The last 20 seconds, I barely could understand. I don't know how it was for the audience.
Oh, okay. Thank you. But yeah, I was just saying, yeah, it may hurt, to be honest with ourselves and let go of the people, places, and things that may be causing these distortions in our field, especially after addressing it and causing boundaries and trying to uphold boundaries. But it still comes back down to this, and it always will with everything, is it'll come back to you as the I am. What are you going to be doing as the accountable being of your space? I mean, you're the one giving consent to these cycles to continue. You're the one that's giving consent to these people that you're irritated with that keep on projecting onto you. Block them, move away, address it, take a solution. Another thing too with this whole fear and propaganda thing is, if you notice, a lot of it that's projected out there, a lot of it is about the problems, and a lot of it is about making things problems. What's a good way to counteract that? Well, a good way to counteract that is simply by focusing on the solutions, focusing on the possibilities of what is, focusing on, oh yeah, this could happen, or this is happening. Now, what are the solutions to that? And then you start focusing on the solutions of what you can do about it. Because that's one thing about us as these magical, beautiful, unicorn, divine beings of light, is we get to do things about it. We're not victims here. We're not stuck. We're not trapped. We're not bound to one thing. we are able and capable of alchemizing and transmuting all energy forms, no matter the degree of density that comes into our field. So what are you going to do about it? Instead of focusing on the problem over and over, and then keep on telling yourself, oh, this is the problem. Tomorrow comes around. Oh man, this is the problem. Next day comes around. This is still a problem, man. 2 days ago, this happened. And then next day comes, 3 days ago, this happened, and it's still a problem. Well, okay. Why aren't you focusing on the solution? And sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it's really simple things of where are we directing our focus? Where are we placing our actions? And just our reverting and redirection of that. Wow, it makes a huge difference. Next thing you know, as soon as, and you can probably recall this, a lot of you guys out there, when you've had moments where you're stuck in fear or you feel trapped, and then next thing you know, as soon as you, boom, you mentally start thinking of a solution and it comes to you and you're like, oh, that's right. All of a sudden, none of that feeling is there anymore. All of a sudden, those fears are gone. So just remember that simplicity. Sometimes it is just getting into that redirection and then moving and continuing forward with that redirection. So I wanted to share this real quick. And it's about a 4-minute video. And this is of a pretty known figure in the world. And he talks about escaping the cycles of stress and anxiety and misery. And it's about thru.
We have all gotten committed to individual identity. And prejudices that life happens as one.
That explain the fears from the other ideology, ideas, thoughts, the anxiety and stress from, and the is not feature of first century. How big part of people
What happens within a human being is entirely caused by him or her within themselves. Your joy and misery happens within you. Pain and pleasure happens within you. Right now, actually, even light and darkness happens only within you. Because what is light for you is darkness for some other creature. This is all the way it is happening within us. Or in other words, the very basis of your experience is within you. When the very basis of your experience is within you, should you not determine what is the nature of your experience? If you did determine what is the nature of your experience, would you make it pleasant or unpleasant for yourself? Definitely pleasant. If there is a choice right now within you, either to be blissful or stressful or miserable, what's your choice? Definitely to be blissful. So this ability to exercise this choice is something that we have not spread across in the society. We have not brought this into our children's lives. We have not made this a part of our education. That the most important thing for a human being is that you are a wonderful human being. If you are a wonderful human being, when you are feeling wonderful within yourself, you naturally do wonderful things to everybody. When you are feeling horrible within yourself, you will do horrible things to other people. And every human being can notice this. When they're happy, if you meet them,
Yeah, but I think the sound isn't as good. The quality isn't
angry,
coming.
frustrated, whatever else.
Yes, sir. I tried to send you a text in the chat, but like for me, I barely could understand the video, sadly. I'm not too sure. I think it was just the bandwidth wasn't going through.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll move forward from it then.
You know, like he is, I love his teachings. You know, if you have a joyful heart, he's gonna explain. But maybe you can give us the point of his talking.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, what he was talking about, to summarize it all and make it simple, is he was basically explaining how it comes down to everything that we are experiencing is being created from within our own self. So what could appear one way to someone could appear another way for somebody else. Therefore, it is up to us within our own self to figure out how we want to choose to navigate and allow that experience to be a part of our life. And with that being said, it pretty much just runs right in alignment with the things that we have talked about in this session as well. And it's really incredible. You know, he was just really emphasizing the power that we have and the great gift that we have of being able to do something and be able to change whatever it is that we are in connection and in relation with. And it will never go away. You know, that's the beauty, is that ability, as long as you're in this human suit, it will never go away. So you'll always have that free will choice of what you choose to do with the energy that you are in transference with.
It's about resonance, you know, and what we resonate with is extremely important. It does not matter if it's positive or negative, but if you have a situation and you have the choice where to focus on, you know, you can see what's not working or what could not work, or you know, you focus on the problem, or you even create a problem which doesn't even need to be there or need to be created. Or you see, how can this serve me? How can I, you know, benefit from it? Like, what's the solution for this thing that I want to solve? You know, it's a task, it's a challenge. Life is about challenges, and we love challenges. You know, it gets bored if we do not challenge ourselves. And for some people, it might be challenging to eat the second package of potato chips, but for me, it's not a challenge at all. Like, I can just like put them in like that. On the other side, like, we gotta really see, where do we want to move towards? Like, what's my, you know, like, where do I want to go? Like, what's my desire in my heart, and how can I create the space within me to move towards that direction? From where I'm at now, taking responsibility for myself and my actions, my thoughts, right? And learning to harmonize like my thoughts and feelings, you know, where I'm putting my attention towards. Like, what am I focusing on? And what feelings come with that I'm focusing on? Are there feelings? Are they good? Are they bad? Or would I classify them as positive or negative? You know, and what do I want to do with that? You know, if I allow myself to sit in it, and I tell you, it's not always pleasant. It's not that you're, just because you don't need to suffer, it's not that you're not experiencing pain. Pain somehow helps us grow, as the muscle hurts when we grow it. You know, when we evolve, sometimes we have to stretch ourselves. But once we stretched ourselves and once we moved forward, you know, invested some energy, and then we're getting some energy back. But at first we got to invest. We got to invest some energy. We got to make some choices, you know, and we got to make the choices that help us being confident, that prove our self-esteem, you know, that helps us being confident and to follow our intuition. You know, we got to create the space for us to hear the intuitive guidance that we all have, our God self, our higher self. We got to hear that voice, because that voice is always solution oriented. It's not creating you any negativities around a subject in this world. This is usually fear-based and, you know, mental, like a mental default, you know, that just gets us trapped in circles that we got to move out. You know, we got to create new circles. If we don't like the circles that we're in right now, we got to create new circles. We got to build new pathways, neural pathways, you know, rewire our brain. It's so important, and it's very simple. Like, the teachings are simple, but we got to do it, and we got to stay persistent, and we got to be surrounded by people who help us elevate, you know, reach out to people who are where we want to be, or who we think that they are where we want to be, you know, who have certain skills, expertise that help you grow, that help you be more confident, that help you to just get to know yourself on an even deeper level. And I think this is what it's all about. And the only reason why people are powerless, you know, and follow in fear and propaganda, like follow those news that are shown on the TV, or, you know, given to us by our teachers in school, those false ideas, those identifications of who we should be, or how we should be to fit into a system, to get a job, to retire with 65, and all those things. Like, we gotta learn to take ourselves out into the observing position, being there, being the awareness that is observing this moment right now, which is who you are. Being in that awareness that is observing you, that is observing us, you know, and even being the observer of that awareness, which helps you to get out of the situation, which helps you to stop identifying yourself with this physicality, you know, this reality that might be based on fear and propaganda. You know, helps you to get out of there and to see the bigger picture. But unless you are able to stop identifying with the drama of this world, you're part of that, you know, and you gotta decide and make a choice, make a decision. Who do you want to be? How do you want to identify yourself? You know, and when you start moving into the direction of that, and you spend and invest time into that, you find out very quickly. You can really find out very, very quickly who you are. It doesn't take you much. It just takes you the right moment, the right meditation, the right conversation, and you are there. You have access to yourself and what you need to know in this present moment, which is your intuitive guidance, your God self, your higher self, always providing you. You know, like, you're not a victim unless you believe so. You know, you're not powerless unless you believe so. And it's time to take your power back. It's time to be yourself, and it's time to take ownership for the decisions you make, to be responsible for your decisions. Yeah. With much love.
Might as well just go ahead and drop the mic on that one. Chew. Beautiful words. Beautiful, beautiful words. So we have a question from Sarah Broadhead. Thank you, Sarah, for tapping in and participating. She said, so along my journey, my son in my parental role has been my greatest source of stress and quote unquote low vibes. Do you have any tips for us parents with this issue? So before we address this, I want to get a deeper clarification on this question, because it's a very broad question, and there's so many different scenarios, so many different types of things that could be going on, different stressors, different habits, all these different things. So Sarah, if you could, in the comments, kind of reiterate, like, what specifically are you having a hard time with when it comes to dealing with the lower vibrations of being a parent with your child? If you may put it in the comments.
Yes, and before that, what I just intuitively get with that is that, anytime that you see a situation outside of yourself causing you low vibes, you gotta have a look on how much you give just for the sake of giving, for giving. You do it to give. Do it for giving. Yes. What comes with it is you already have forgiven. So you don't need to judge yourself for what you did, or you don't even have to forgive yourself after that, because what you do is for giving, right? So no excuses needed, no explanation needed, whatever. But like, you got to learn to lead in a way that is, allowing yourself and the one that you're leading, your son, your children, to be seen as equal, just to talk with them as if they're on eye level with you. This is what I'm talking about. Not talking down to them, not creating them as powerless or victims or whatever, because they're sentient beings, and they're understanding a lot if you talk from your heart and you open and vulnerable and just let them know why you're struggling or what's on your heart. It's very important to be open and vulnerable with your son, and to not project anything onto anyone else, and to really see them, to talk with them from eye to eye. So you're giving your best, right? You do it for giving, so you don't have to judge yourself to give or whatever. And what you're receiving is greater than anything that you can imagine. So yeah,
Beautifully said.
did you say something?
Again, Sarah, if you are here in the live space, if you could put in the comments a little bit more of a direct statement of what it is that you're struggling with, or what it is directly that you're experiencing and could use a little bit of guidance with. Just because it's such a broad question, we don't know what type of situation you're having with the child, because there's so many situations. So if you could just identify that in the comments, then we can more directly kind of help you with that. And also, along with what Yana is saying, is this came to me too, is as a free will being and as a conscious co-creator of your own mind, you get to choose the way that you're labeling and identifying these experiences. So for example, you can choose to continue to just label these things as stress and low vibes, or you can choose to see it as like, no. See, this is the thing. I feel like we really get caught up in these labels as human beings, as like the way to cover everything, as in like it's a good vibe or it's a low vibe, instead of seeing the details of it. For me, I'm a detail-oriented person, so I don't really go for labels. I don't go for identification. I just go into detail and being present with it. So for example, instead of saying that something is a low vibe, I'll just be like, oh, okay, this is my son. He's a little child that is developing and growing in the world, and he is going through life experiences that are going to help him develop and help him grow as a being, instead of even considering or looking at it just as, oh, he's doing low vibrational things. For me, it's just like he's going through life experiences as a human child that is developing and growing and becoming wiser through his experiences. I'm not sure if you can see this. The other chat thread disappeared. So we still haven't gotten your more direct answer on what the situation is that you're experiencing, but we have all of your other comments. So if you just want to try to put it again, maybe.
What, like, exactly, in the time that she's doing it, I think we can receive your messages. And thanks for staying here with us. So, anything that we experience as dense or lower energies or whatever, we gotta learn to use them, and we gotta look at detail, as Christo says. We gotta look at the detail of it, put it apart, or look at it, observe it from all angles, or as many angles as you can possibly look at it, and then see what you can do with this information. Just see it as information that you take in and that you alchemize, that you transmute, that you use. You're taking in that energy inside of you, you're changing that energy, and then you're putting out what you did with it. Okay, so
there we go.
He has an additional defiance disorder, and it's been difficult to cope. I stand in between thinking he cannot help it, and between being in shock and hurt because he is being spiteful. I'll let you do that, brother, and then I will give some add-on.
Okay. With honor. So, well, I'll bring it up again, what I just brought up. So remembering from the inward spot, the inward place, we can always start with our own mindset about it. So just kind of, observe where your mindset is about it. Are you in a negative mindset about it? Are you in like a drained mindset? Are you kind of like a, God, like this is so crazy, like, that type of mindset? If so, that's a good place to look and kind of maybe re-examine the mindset into something that's more pure, more unconditional based, and just kind of reaffirming that, this is part of the journey, and I'm doing a beautiful thing as a parent for this child that's developing and learning in this world. Things of that nature to help reprogram the thoughts of it. And then also, I'm sure you do express to your son, but I find very vulnerable and pure expression is helpful as well to reach people in their hearts and into deep parts of their self. So say, for example, a situation comes up and he projects or he does something that could be received as hurtful, and you receive that and then you feel hurted by it. So I'm not sure how you approach your communication of it, and approach is a big thing as well with communication, is you can kind of maybe speak from my shoes to your shoes. As your mom, when you say these things to me or you do these things towards me, it does make me kind of sad. It makes me feel a little sad, and I just wish that we could show better ways of loving each other or that we can be a little bit more nicer and a little bit more kinder towards each other. And if there's anything at all that I can do for you and do with you to help feel more love and feel more connection between us, even during these triggered times and during these hard times, just let me know and I'm here for you. But I love you, and I understand what you deal with and what you go through mentally inside of yourself. And just know that I'm always here for you. I'm always here and I'm always on your team. Things like that I find very powerful, like very, very powerful, pure ways of speaking from your heart. It's not from a blaming or shaming standpoint. It's not from a victim standpoint, and it's not from a self or a disempowerment standpoint. It's just a vulnerability expression of heart to heartness, and also giving that other being insight into how you feel as a reflective being of them. And then I'm not sure what other practices or ways that you may utilize grounding for him, but I'm not sure if there's any sports or anything like that that helps with blowing off steam and helping bring balance to that. But that's what I feel called to share for you, Sarah.
Yeah, she also says, it's a strange circumstance, but it constantly pulls on my heart as he will not work with me at all. What I can say to this, Sarah, is, that pull on your heart, it's, ask yourself, are you trying to give something that he needs? Are you trying to give something that he does not need or does not want? Love is always needed. Love is always wanted. It's important to question ourselves from which place we come when we approach teaching someone something, or if we see a solution for someone, like, how am I approaching giving the solution? Is this person receptive? Is this person understanding what I'm talking about? Or is he even listening at all? Like, you gotta be sure that you find calm moments, like the right timing. It's to find for yourself, right? It's nothing that I can directly help you with this situation, finding the right time to communicate open and vulnerably, how my mom did it with me. And not like even 10 years ago, I lived at home and I've done some things, and the way my mom made her points was, she made me feel that I've done wrong. She never yelled at me, she never raised her voice or been disrespectful or whatever. Like, she's been very calm always. And like, the moment she left my room, I felt guilty. Like, just because of what I've done, not because of what she said, but she said to me, like, she is disappointed. She said that she is disappointed so many times, and I felt her disappointment, I felt her sadness, and I don't want to make my mom sad. This is not my intention at all, and I think no one of us truly wants to make someone else sad. So when we're sad, before we're sad, we're angry. The anger is a step before sadness. The sadness is allowing ourselves to feel why we're angry. And to be sad is okay. We're all sad. It's okay. We experience sadness. I experience sadness every day. I go through a whole range of emotions every single day. I'm every day sad, I'm every day joyful. Like, it's a hell of a roller coaster in my emotions. And before you're reacting in a way that you say things that could be misunderstood from him, that you haven't meant that way, just find a place for yourself first to calm down, to Open yourself up to your own vulnerability, to listen to your own feelings, and learn to express and to share what makes you sad. This is the key. Yeah.
I love how it typed as your account.
You did that. I was like, whoa, it's spooky.
But yeah, Sarah, I put in the comments, what is a real situation that you're facing with him currently? Because again, like, this is a very broad topic. So like, if there's a very, very precise experience that you're struggling with right now, drop it in the comments, and then we can have something that's a little bit more direct towards the experience you're having. And also let us know if this has been helpful for you.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Delphi Priestess. Dropping the fire. One love.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Like what I got from my mom is really that calm, and she really is. And I'm very grateful to have her. She hasn't had it easy with me. And it's just what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's the thing too, is like, we gotta keep in mind as human beings, we're gonna go through stuff, especially if we have children. I mean, relationships and period, we're gonna go through things. So it's not like avoidable to have no conflicts or go through challenges. So just keep in mind too that, like, as a mother with a child that has something of an imbalance chemically, then there's going to be some trials and tribulations to sharpen each other. And through those trials and tribulations, your son is also going to continue to develop into an adult. And through those experiences that you guys have, tough or easy, it's going to continue to shape him as he continues to grow into an adult as well. And I know for my own self, and anybody else could probably say, we have had our issues with our parents growing up. That's for sure. Okay. So she said, you're helping much. So say, for example, I ask him to do a task. He will first agree. He will continue to push the task out just a few minutes to stall. Long story short, he pushes it to the point where it is a downright war from his behavior when I continue to ask him to comply. Okay. So, see, now this goes deep. Because I know a little bit about you and your family history. And so Sarah, if you could put the consent in the comments, do you give me consent to speak upon the parental circumstances that your son is in? As in
I
being
was like, if it's something that if he should do something for himself, like as in homework, or like something that's mainly for him and his own development, or is it something that like he really has to do in order for you to all live together in a harmonious way? It's always looking like, is it a collective thing that you have, or is it something that is his personal and individual choice?
Yeah.
Alone differentiating that would be helpful.
Yeah, so the reason why I bring this up is because personally knowing you, Sarah, and your family history of what's going on, and you do give me consent. Well, with your son not having his father in his life, that's going to be a very big effect on his masculine energies. When I say his masculine energies, this is going to be his discipline. This is going to be his order. This is going to be his ability to be a safe container. and much more. So if he has been growing up and he hasn't, especially as a man and a male, as a child, and hasn't had that masculine figure to show what structure and discipline and all these different things look like, along with the value of structure and discipline, and why we prioritize our homework, why we prioritize respecting our mother, and all these different things. And he's really just not going to have the knowledge. He's not going to have that reflection, that mirroring back to him and instilling within his being the discipline, respect, how to have a safe container, and all these different things that a healthy masculine is to have. So part of it is going to be either stepping more into a masculine energy of being the one to explain the reasons why we do certain things, or the reason why implementing structure and discipline is good for your future, good for your goals, good for allowing you to become who you want to be and to develop your dreams into the world as a young man. Or it's going to be helpful if you have a friend or your current partner or other masculines in the community or other feminines that are willing to step into that masculine energy to help give your son that guidance of what structure, discipline, respect, and all these things are, so he really knows and has the knowledge and the information within him. Because a lot of times it's just they don't know. They don't know what respect is. They don't know what discipline is. They don't know what structure is. They don't know why we use structure to build our future and to be able to have our goals accomplished. So it's kind of just, as you can see, it's it's a rebellion. It's an empty feeling of, I have no awareness of why this is important, so it's not important to me. Why would I care about these things? Why would I want to enact these steps if I don't even have an awareness of why it's important? Ooh, wow.
I think what's important for him to know is that you care and that you want him to be happy, and that's his decision, what he's doing. And as long as his actions make him happy, it makes you happy, and you're there with him. I think keep it as simple as you can. Let him know what you wish for him, and not like specific things. Don't be materialistic with it, but that you wish him well, that you wish him to be happy, that you wish him to make the decisions that help him going where he wants to go, and leave it open to him what those decisions are as much as you can. I don't know, and how much freedom you can give him in this. I don't know your situation, but give him as much, food for thought. Just plant those seeds and allow him to make the decisions that feel right for him, whilst really looking that you stand your ground, and which is a balance which is needed. The moment that you aren't engaged in any drama and you're able to stay neutral, not go into any negativity or any positivity about anything, just call things neutral, tell him in a neutral way that you're wanting him to be happy and that you respect his decisions. And if you say this in a neutral way, you're not with any agenda, you're not wanting to change him, in your intention, because he feels that if you want to change him, we get everything we get people's intention. You know, we get their body language, we get their tonality, and how you bring things across, how you say them is crucial. So give him space, let him know that you care, and give him the freedom to decide for his own happiness, you know?
That freedom is the great key with that structure and discipline, that balance of masculine and feminine.
I mean, like, there's something, thanks for bringing that up right now. Yeah, we gotta, you know, if you aren't able, like, because he sees in you a woman, no matter how much masculine nature you try to bring across, he sees a woman in you, you know, and yeah, just having someone regularly, or like a teacher or whatever, you know, who, or give him some, I don't know, give him something to look at, you know.
Martial arts, you know, like there's a lot of things out there.
Someone, you know, very important. We need that balance.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to say on that too is just like, try to get into the habit, and it may feel like a little extra at first, but you know, try to get into the habit of explaining the reason why. So instead of just being like, go take out the trash. Oh, you better have that trash taken out by 5. And that's it. That's all you say. You know, just, do you mind if you could take out the trash by this time? You know, the reason why we want to take the trash out is because, you know, we don't want to have trash built up in here. And this is also going to help you with being able to take care of your own home when you get older. And then you'll know how to take care of your own home and how to take care of your own space. But I know that's always not going to work, that's for sure. But depending on the situation, sometimes explaining the reasons why help them get a more conscious understanding of, oh, okay, this is why she's asking me to do it, and this is the way it can benefit me.
The last point right there, the benefit. Find ways to communicate his own benefit from doing so. You know,
There
what
it
people
is.
want, what's in it for me? So if he needs to, boys like girls, you know, usually, like, all lovers, whatever. Like, if you, you know, if you get the point across that if he brushes his teeth, you know, he's gonna be seen as like, you know, the girls are just going to him
There you go.
because of his beautiful smile. You gotta find solutions. You gotta focus on, like, what's the benefit for him from doing what he's doing. Girls,
What is
you
he
know,
like?
brushing, what's, you know, like, be liked by girls. Every boy wants to have that, whatever. Another example with the trash, like, you know, hey darling, you know, could you help me bring out the trash? I'm very busy doing XYZ. It will really help us live comfortably in a clean home. If you could do so, I'd be very grateful. You know, the benefit is a clean home. You know, the benefit is comfortability in the own home, because I can do everything the way I want to do it without needing to worry about trash in the way or whatever. You know, like, just focus on the benefit, focus on the solution, and learn to communicate the solution and the benefit to the people, no matter who. In this case, your son. You know.
Mm-hmm. So good, man. We are cranking it. We're cranking the fire, man. So good. And then on top of that too, it's like, yeah, you know, try to take that mundaneness out of it, of just being so direct and just short, and adding those type of things can really spark a new wave of communication and a wave of energy that is being transmitted between each other. Because now, instead of it being sort of like a like a short, direct, sharp energy that's being sent, like, do this. It's more connective and fluid, I feel like, when we're explaining and we're giving our heart and we're explaining the benefit for them. We're like, yeah, you know, like, this will be beneficial for me, it'll be beneficial for you in these ways. It'll help you be able to know how to be a good boyfriend and take care of your girl when you guys get a house when you get older. Like, you know, all those type of things play into the things that he really cares about at his age. He's not going to care about the adult things. He's not going to care about, oh, it makes it easier to go work your job. He's not going to really care about that. You know, he's going to care about the things as a little boy that he cares about. So I guess a good way to cap that is relating. Like, how can it relate to him in his life instead of it just relating to you in your life through your perspective? And then last thing, so I know you keep saying last thing, but all these beautiful things keep coming up, is don't forget to balance fun with it all. You know, find ways to keep on bringing fun into it as well, to balance, you know, the disciplines, the chores and things like that. Because man, if it's just constantly doing chores at home, never really having as much focus on doing fun things as well, just as much, then he could just feel like just really mundane about it all and not really see much reward or much benefit out of it. So that as well, you know, balancing fun. And, you know, typically what I see out of human beings is that when we're able to have fun and expel all that energy that's built up, we're more opened, you know, our heart's more open, we're more receptive to whoever it is we're having fun with. And typically you can find that they're more uplifted and they're more in a joyous state to be able to help and to be able to do things. So just think about that as well. You know, if you're employing enough fun as well to go in with the balance of doing these different chores and structures and things of that nature. If anybody else has any questions in the live, feel free to drop them, man. Like, this is beautiful. Any fear, any propaganda you're dealing with?
Yeah, you know, such a beautiful topic. I just, like, another one I had is, you know, if I brush my teeth, like, I can just show the girls my beautiful smile, you know, like, really you can find joyful ways and give your best to speak like detached from the outcome, you know, just say it for the sake of saying it, not because you want to cause him, like, because he feels if you have an agenda about the outcome of his life, they'll leave all of that open and give him the opportunity to create his own vision about what you're talking about, right? We're powerful beings and we gotta use our imagination way more than we used to, you know, and being in our intuitive self and our feminine nature. No, there is all of that. We can hold those visions and we can create things from what we get, you know, master alchemist in the cosmic womb. So you can transform any situation, and he is there to help you, and he is guiding you at the same time. Don't forget that one. You're both guides, you're both students, you're both teachers in your own way. And we gotta learn from every moment, because if we do not learn, it circles back to us and we experience the same problem in a different situation with different people, you know, slightly different circumstances, but the conditions might be different, but, like, you know, it's the same issue, it's the same yucky feeling that comes with it. And we gotta make a different choice. You know, we get the opportunity again and again and again and again to choose love, to choose happiness, to, you know, relationships. How I relate is so important, you know. And is what I wish for others really the best for others, or is it what I think it's best for them? We gotta check ourselves constantly. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. The moment that we think we reached a certain destination, we gotta we have the next challenge right around the corner. We gotta be humble with it and learn to breathe. You know, your life flows as your breath flows. If your breath is shallow, your life is shallow. If your breath is deep, your life is deep. And we like it. We really like it.
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Oh man.
You well, you know, another topic, you know, that we can introduce, because, you know, getting ourselves out of the body is important, you know. And I think what helps many people is the use of plant medicine to do so. So we can have a conversation about you know, plant medicines, but also comparing it with breath work. You know, how DMT breath work can also give us that state that allows us to observe things from outside of our body, you know, in our energetic field, to start really observing and not identifying with anything that goes on outside of us, you know, or identifying with drama or problems or situations, hold on to things, and really give some insight on how plant medicine, how breath work, you know, how meditation, transcendental meditation, can help us in really being in that peace, you know, being that observer of what I experience. Because if you're observing your experience, you're seeing the value in it. And I can say one thing, like, we don't need plant medicine to reach that understanding. It's a tool. Breathwork is a tool too, just to find what resonates with you. And I've seen myself as an experiment for a while now. Like, for me, this entire life is an experiment. And I tell you, I don't need ayahuasca, you know, mushrooms, LSD. You know, it hasn't really, you know, what it did is it confirmed so many things of my own psyche. Like, it was those confirmation. It helped me to clear up space, you know, from the egoic mind, to really shatter my reality, or like the reality of the ego, and just make space, create space for me to make new decisions, you know, just to move on with a clean slate. And breathwork as well, like, I mean, 10 breaths and I can reset my nervous system. You talked about nervous system and the importance of our nervous system. You know, there is, I think, so much to talk about in this topic.
Oh yeah. And Sarah, feel free to put in the comments, you know, like, how helpful or beneficial this was for you. Definitely love to know. And thank you for asking the questions. Really appreciate that. So I have a deck out to pull a card. I want to pull a card for us, just to give us a nice little oracle message from the Magical Dimension Oracle. And it's got some Fae cards, Chakra, Galactic, as well as Middle Earth. So I'm gonna pull us a card, and then I'm gonna invite us as we'll move into our holistic practice for the space today. I'm gonna invite us to take a moment to grab our journals if we would like, and open ourselves up to jotting down or writing out any fears, any struggles, any limited beliefs that we may be currently dealing with in our everyday life, just from a neutral standpoint. And then through that journaling, we'll then move into a practice. And I'll actually invite our brother Yana over here, if he would like to lead the practice to help with clearing out and bringing some integration to what is journaled. If you'd be open to it, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you for asking. Sure thing.
Absolutely. Awesome. So we have 2 cards that came out. And the first card is going to be the throat portal, throat chakra. A nice blue octave.
I've had throat chakra card yesterday, for 2 days ago, yesterday. Yeah. It's a topic for me too. Good, man.
Yeah. So the throat chakra deals with speaking your truth, courage, and suppression. So I'm just gonna give real simple and brief downloads about these cards, not to go too deep for you guys. So the throat portal is focusing on in what areas have you maybe suppressing yourself. You know, what moments are you having where, say you're around family, you're around community, you're around your friends, and there's something that you really want to speak on, there's something that you really want to be vulnerable about, you really want to be honest. Due to the fear, due to whatever it is in the relations of the people around you, you may have just suppressed yourself. And you may have just stopped yourself from even voicing because you either didn't want to hear the drama, you didn't want to hear the projections, the negativity, things of that nature. So just think about that. If there's anything or any situations that you can recall where that type of behavior has happened. And then if you've also been rejected, you've been denied of your truth, or you've been shut down. And then along with that, also take a look at where you are opening up your voice, where you are beginning to heal and open up your throat center by either using your voice, sharing your creativity, or continuing to go through your release process. So then along with that, we also have the second card, which is going to be Majestic Eminence. And Majestic Eminence deals with priestess energy, divine feminine energy, and worth. Ooh, great compliment to go with each other. So with this, we're dialing in and tapping into, are we allowing ourselves to relax? Are we allowing ourselves to rest? Are we allowing ourselves to be nurtured? Are we nurturing ourselves? Are we allowing others to nurture us? These nurturings can be through words, could be through thoughts, could be through physical affection, and many other ways. Or are we doing the contrary? Are we constantly negative about ourselves? Are we always doubting ourselves? Are we just absorbing and taking on other people's negative beliefs about us? If any of these are stored, this would be a good time to take a look at that. And then along with this also, where can we maybe create space or create time in our day or night to give ourselves self-care? Are we even doing this at all throughout our whole entire day? And if we can find ways to etch out 5, 10, even 2 minutes time to do conscious, direct, and focused self-care, it can really make the ultimate difference quantumly on your energetic field. And then last thing too is consider if there is any wounding surrounding your feminine energy. Is there any wounding surrounding not feeling worthy because you're relaxing? Feeling like you're not bringing any worth or value to the world because you're not creating something right now in this moment? Take an honest look at that. I know it's something that I go through, especially as a content creator and a space holder that is pretty constantly doing things. I do have those moments where when I'm in my downtime, I might think like, oh man, I need to create something. I need to put something out there. But I realize that's a toxic trait of mine. It's a toxic feminine and toxic masculine energy of not being able to be at peace and not being able to find the surrender of when to relax, and to know that relaxing is a powerful tool that helps me be able to create more, and that there is nothing wrong with me for relaxing and not posting or creating something today. So those are the 2 cards to dwell upon a little bit. We have our throat chakra, and then we have magical essence. And then feel free to continue journaling if you are, to journal on anything regarding those 2 cards or any fear or propaganda that you may be dealing with. And I'm gonna go ahead and hand it on over to our brother here as he will take us off into this practice.
And really being honest with the things that we write about and talk about. It's take some more moments, right? A minute or so to really finalize your words, so you can be present after that. For me, with the throat chakra, specifically as portal for manifestation, we speak things into existence. Our words have power. How we speak, what we say, how it influences people. Time to be aware of the consequences, of our actions, and to utilize our feminine nature to rest, to hold the space for ourselves, for our manifestation, and for our creation. Because just doing things, always pushing the limit. If I'm pushing, like I'm pushing something away, and I gotta learn to receive, right? I gotta learn to receive. And this is what we're doing now. So take away your pen, or put away your pen, your journal, find a comfortable position, either sit down or lie down. Important is that you're relaxed and your spine, our body is as straight as it can be, but the comfortable part is the most important one. As if you're comfortable and truly relaxed, energy flows through you. So, if you're sitting, see that your legs are on the ground, feet are on the ground, or cross-legged, like a monk is possible also. just wherever you feel comfortable. And take the time now to really close your eyes. But firstly, before we go into the meditation, now close your eyes. Just feel how you feel internally. You know, what's going on inside, how you feel inside, what's your energy like inside your physical body, and what's the energy like around your body. Now, what are you aware of inside? Find the place which is the middle of your head. Take a line from above your head, right through your head. Take a line from your left ear to your right ear, and a line from the front to the back. And the place where those three lines meet each other, this is where your attention is at right now. You're in the center of your head. And in the center of your head, there is a center in the center. And go even deeper inside the center, the center, the center. And tune into your heart from that place on. Keep your awareness in the center of your head, in the center, the center, the center of your head. Feel your body. Feel your heart. You may feel a little nervousness, energy flowing through you. This is normal. Just be with it. Take a slow inhale through the nose inside the lower part of your upper body, right towards your buttocks. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let go of all that you do not want to do. When you finish the exhale, take another inhale. Deep and slow through your nose. Exhale, feel your body relaxing. Feel the ground holding you. You do not need to hold the ground. The ground holds you. Just be follow the breath. Feel the ground underneath you. Feel a lotus below your body. Feel that ground that this lotus is giving groundedness, that stability, that foundation. And feel that stability come up through your feet, the legs, the upper legs, the buttocks, the lower upper body. Feel the stability in this lower part of your body. And take it further, feel it come up your spine, belly button towards our plexus. Feel the strength that comes from the body. Your heart is stable, strong. Feel the courage that comes. Shoulders, arms, hands, your neck, your head. You are grounded. You are safe. Feel the strength inside your entire body. Inside and outside. The same strength within your body and around you. Tune into your heart. Tune into the voice. Open up your heart to your voice and allow your heart to be expressed through your voice, to share your story, to share your experience and why you're here, why this is so important to you. Allow yourself to be here. Allow yourself to express your strength, no matter what other people feel. Feel when you say what you say. Speaking from the heart is hard work, but it's true. It gets you lighter and lighter. And speaking from light, let's take in a golden light from above, entering our crown, our head cavity, third eye, throat, our entire head and throat filled with golden light, our shoulders, upper chest, upper arms, entire arms and hands filled with a gold color. Feel it like honey. Throat, upper chest, arms and hands. Your entire chest floats with a golden manuka honey. Feel like gold inside of you, going down into your plexus, your stomach filled with golden vibes, golden manuka, flowing down your body smoothly. The entire upper body filled with buttocks, genitals, upper legs, your feet, down your cup, ankle, your right feet, and all of your feet very straight. Feel feel what's present. And set the intention to move your beauty. Really express anytime kind, love, protective. This is what you are. Love and protective always. The love of the divine flowing through you in this moment. Rejuvenating, activating every cell of your being. Think about the feeling that comes with it. Being in that state, the heights of awareness. Allowing the energy to flow through, allowing those high frequencies to flow through and to move you. Allow love to move you. Allow love to move you. Allow love to speak through. Allow love to heal through you. Share your blessing. Do it for giving. Giving conditional. What you have given. Only taking. Giving and receiving equal. Develop the harmony, cosmic water, divine love, unity, balance, harmony within you and around you. Feel your body and feel outside. But be aware of the difference for this meditation. Now, what's the difference? How does your body feel now? How does the energy around you feel different? And the fingers, the toes, the wiggling wind, very connect. Just enjoy presence. Your being. Thank you.
That being said, thank you to all of you for tapping in today or on this replay. And thank you, Brother Jarne, for that meditation to close out. Everybody have a beautiful and blessed weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. The Friday Expedition. Wholeness and balanced love.
One love.